Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Folks, welcome back or welcome to KINJAZ Movement in the Shadows. We are your hosts, Ben
and Anthony.
And today we have a very special guest in the pod. Today we have community builder, entrepreneur, philanthropist, running enthusiast who hates running, co-founder and owner of Love Hour Los Angeles, Koreatown Run Club, Bicycle Meals, and Excel the Youth. You can find all that he's up to and building on at Koreatown on IG. The unofficial mayor of K-Town, we have Mike Pack in the pod.
Wow. Beautiful intro. Thank you for that intro.
You have a very colored intro. Wow. I mean, like, well, I do some stalking and stuff when I have these guests and stuff, and that was one thing that I found interesting because I found, you co-founded the Koreatown Run Club, which I trained with when I prepped for my half marathon 2 years ago.
See, I knew we were going to go right into the running.
But we're not going to go into the boring stuff of the running.
Right.
But my point is, I saw that, like, you started this thing and then you're not a big fan of running.
I would say so. Yeah. So, like,
why would you do that?
I fucking hate running.
It's really interesting. It's running to this day. Even doing Run Club for the past 7 years, it's some physical activity for myself. It's the hardest to be consistent at. Even though I have this awesome community that we've built, it's still day to day the hardest thing to wake up and say, go work out, go run. Because you have to. And I think being human, it allows us to just be vulnerable at times. And even though you do have a community behind you to, get you back going in that route, it's nice to just be like, you know what, I don't want to. This is not the right time. But then you ask yourself questions like, when's the right time to really start taking ownership of it? And
did you build the community for accountability, or did you build it?
You know what? That's a good question. I think I think the underlying deep answer is possibly yes. It's like later down the line, it's like it's going to be beneficial for you. It's also going to be like you have to own up to it. But at that time, probably wasn't thinking about it too much. But in hindsight, probably yeah.
Well, speaking of hindsight, we got to get to like how you got to thinking the way that you think. So we always start with origin stories.
That was a good transition, by the way.
Thank you. And so give us the background of Mike Pack. Like, where did you grow up?
Okay, so
how'd you get your?
I don't think I've told you.
Run it back.
Yeah,
see what I did there.
Yeah.
Run it back.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
So let's go way back.
Back in the time.
How it all started. I grew up in Northern Virginia. And around my college years, around my second year, I realized, hey, this is not for me.
What, Northern Virginia?
I would say Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia, just college in general.
Got it.
And I remember I was sitting in class one day and I was like, this isn't for me. Like, what is this guy going to teach me that I don't already know or want to learn? And I went to my school counselor and I was like, I'm going to LA. And she goes, that's not a smart idea. I say you finish out school and get into your major and like.
Well, you're like a second year at this point?
Yeah. And I'm not even in my major yet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just kind of like, nah, this isn't it. This isn't it for me. So I asked my best friend, Sebastian, to move to LA with me. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. We moved that summer.
Why LA?
What was drawing you other than the fine women?
I think for me is we growing up in high school, like for us, we were like the skater kids, like listen to weird music. We listened to like Pharrell was such a big influence to our lives, and Clips and everyone, and we wore like weird clothes and
so a lot of like the culture of
the
LA
culture
was
of it, and
you
we're
up.
just like, hey, LA will have the same kids, and we could relate to them and make awesome friends. And I think that was the whole point. And so when we got here, we landed in Koreatown. It was a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom behind actually Love Hour. What's Love Hour right now?
Okay.
And And
That sounds like a sex motel, but maybe I'm thinking about real Korea.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll get to that. And yeah, it was a 2-bedroom, $1,000, and we're fresh out. We don't know what we're doing. We don't have a job. And I just remember my friend going, "Hey, we need to get some internships." And I go, internships? Like, I'm not trying to intern, but it's like, hey, you work for free, but you get in the game. And that kind of clicked for me. So I did my due diligence and was like, hey, I want to be in the music industry. So I emailed all the music people that I looked up to at the time. And I remember I emailed Ski TV with DJ Ski and, asked if they wanted an intern. And they were like, sure, come on in. I'm like, we'll chat with you. And I got the internship. So that got me the flooring of music. And I was like, I love this. I love LA. I'm Snoop, Game, Mac Miller, all these awesome artists are coming in and like saying what up to us. And we're like 20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like,
both you and Sebastian was interned in the same spot?
No, it's not the same. So he had his own like path that he was going
it.
to, but he was also doing some awesome stuff. And I was like, I fucking made it, dude. I mean,
yeah,
these guys are touching my hand. Like, I'm just like, who am I, So I'm interning. I fall into music publishing in the department and I fell in love with it. But then, my Sebastian was like, get a second internship. And I go, what? At the same time? And he was like, just manage your time a little better. At the time, I worked at a high-end barber shop, sweeping floors.
Nice.
And
must have been a high-end broom.
It was, it totally was. And incredible people would come, CEOs, you name it. And I was the only one there that would recognize them. And I had the power of giving away a free haircut. And you,
as an intern?
No, well, at the job.
Oh, okay.
So you have no idea how much power that is. They come up, they can totally afford the haircut, but then you go, hey, I'm a big fan. And they go, whoa, like, that's weird. Like, I don't know. No one recognizes me, right? And I go, haircut's on me. And they're like, dude, you don't have to do that. Knowing that, they might build a rapport with me later on when they come in every week. And that's what happened to most of these guys that I still talk to this day. They're like, what do you do, man? Like, you're just a kid. I'm like, oh, I'm at Ski TV. And they're like, what? Ski's like my good friend, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I got my second internship. Someone came in. I was over at, they offered a position over at WWE Wrestling. So I was over there for a little bit.
That sounds fun. What year was this?
Oh my gosh. This was 10 years ago. So
this is like the John Cena era.
2013.
Yeah. And we were getting ready for WrestleMania at the time, I remember. And I got to see some awesome wrestlers. Big wrestling fan, by the way.
Same.
And
I think we all probably grew up on
really?
wrestling. Yeah.
So my biggest my favorite wrestler is Kane.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Mankind's brother, right?
No.
I mean Undertaker's brother. Undertaker's brother.
With Paul Bearer on top
Oh
of
my God.
trying to dunk. So,
Bro, you
That's
are legit,
wild.
dude.
That is Undertaker's brother, right?
Yeah.
The story or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
the story.
So WWE, cool PR gig, and then I was like, I'm gonna get a fucking third one. Like, this is awesome. So I have music, I have entertainment,
And you're doing all these at the same time?
same time while
Whoa.
sleeping floors. And
Wow.
I was like, I'm gonna do a third one, but I'm gonna obviously do it in a different industry. The time back then I was like the diehard Crooks and Castles fan.
Yeah.
And I would die for those guys. I was like, this is it. Like, this is my brand.
Yeah.
And that's how I fell in love with streetwear and obviously the hundreds. And I was able to get a internship in the streetwear industry from the barbershop. And you combine all those together after, a year and a half of interning and getting no job.
What was the name of the barbershop? Just curious.
It was called Bolt Barbers.
Bolt Barbers.
Yeah, Fifth and Spring downtown. And
Okay.
then there was one off of Melrose.
Okay.
And, I also had aspirations to become a barber later down the line. And that it'll segue into that. But so I'm interning 3 spots, busting my ass trying to figure out who I am. And what I'm capable of doing in this industry. And Sebastian goes, okay, after a year and a half, he goes, I'm moving back. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm finishing school, dude. And I was like, oh, wow, like you're going to go finish school, but like, I don't want to finish school. I'm going to stay here and grind it out.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm sorry, dude. This is what it is. And I was like,
why do you think that was? Like, was he just not finding the success?
No, he found the same success as I did,
Oh,
which was
interesting.
beautiful. And we'd come home every night, like
Yeah.
talking about like, yo, I just met this person or this
Right,
person
right,
saw
right.
this. And he had goals that he had to finish school, and I respect him for that. And I actually moved back.
Oh, you did.
Oh, because he did.
Yes. Because I couldn't
Oh.
afford the $1,000
Oh,
rent,
right,
$500,
yeah.
right? And so moved back. That summer I took 7 classes. I failed every class because I'm checked out.
Right,
And I was like,
yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Dude,
And
yeah.
at that point I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I left again back to LA after that summer. And this is where it really transitions into how how I met you and everything.
Mhm, mhm.
So I'm back in LA, part 2. And I never let it phase me being back home, because it was like, yeah, I'm back home. I failed. It was like, oh, Mike's back. Like LA must have like turned you out, huh? And it was like, no, like I had to move back. And I know I was going back in a few months. So when I'm back, I got a proper position at the barbershop now. I'm a manager. I oversee 8 chairs, and I'm 21, 22 still. And I have a lot more responsibility in my life. And now I can pay my own rent. And I go, you know what? It's awesome being back, and I have all the support from everyone. I'm going to do one more internship before I check out. And mind you, I'm not going to school. So, as much as I hate to say this, is I was forging all my internship papers that I'm going to school and getting these fake hours, whatever, because I really wanted to do it and be there and learn.
What school were you forging for?
I'm not gonna mention that.
He's
but-
like Harvard.
yeah.
Harvard.
No, I went to VCU in Richmond. I left the year we made it to the Final Four, and that was like a pretty great year for us. But I'm looking through the internet, and there's this internship for celebrity gossip, and it's with Spin Media. And at that time, their department had like a celebrity stuff going on and huge team. But this specific department was doing social media for their clients, which I had no idea who their clients were at the time. So I get in, very intimidating. And I walk in there, and it's just all beautiful women. And like, it's just me, like, like all black skater kid. And like, just like, why am I here? And I'm like, what am I doing here? And it was just so intimidating. My writing was horrible. I make up words. Like, I don't know how I got this gig.
Make up words.
So they're like, hey, so like you and this girl are going to like report to me. And I'm like, and all our bosses were super sweet. And I was like, cool. Like, so what do you guys do here? It's like, oh, we're going to create content we create content for our clients. And I go, content was such a big word at that time that just like they created that word. And it's like, who are your clients? And they were like, what? Like Kardashian, Lindsay Lohan, Kelly Jenner, not Kelly Jenner,
Kylie Jenner,
Kelly Osbourne, like all the A-list celebrities at the time. And I go, okay, like what do you want me to do? They're like, you and this girl are going to report back to me, but we're going to teach you how to write as their voice, and you're going to create content as them. So I go, who? They're like, dude, Kim Kardashian. Like, here, like, start figuring it out. And in that first like 2 weeks, they were teaching me how to write as their voice, and I learned that there's a huge team behind her, and it's like creating content like Fashion Fridays. Like, I wore this and this, and I paired this and this, and thank you so much. And like, I drank this today, and it's like, oh fuck, there's a huge team behind it. But like, me and this girl are just like jibber jabbering, and like at the end of the day, we would submit maybe 7 pieces, and we'd be lucky if like 1 or 2 got approved. And then if it got approved, we had all our passwords, and we just upload to KimKardashian.com. her Instagram, her Twitter, you name it.
So, I mean, your boss is like looking through this plethora of like interns, and it's like
Interns,
they look at your face
he's
and
just-
like, this is Kim's voice right
This
here.
is
It's pretty
clearly
crazy. Yeah.
Kim's
And I'm
voice.
intimidated. But here's a funny thing that I like to say, and I don't tell this story a lot about the Kim K stuff. But you know, not only am I learning social media and how to like engage with, you know, people and fans, I had like a not a midlife crisis. It was like a identity crisis. As a joke, it's because I go in there every day. I talk like a woman. I think like her. And then at night, people don't know, like I'm dreaming about Kim Kardashian. Then I go back in the morning and I go, Fashion Fridays, or this and this and this. And I'm like, I'm really indulging in it and I'm like having fun. But I would have to like talk to my boys. And I'm like, dog. I'm like, I feel weird, dog. And he's like, dude, just have fun with it and embrace it. And I go, yes, I know this. Like, I'm learning. But like every morning I go in there and I'm a woman. Like it's awesome duality of like just figuring it out. And I had so much fun with it. And then just later down the line, I'm still there and they're like, why are you here? Like, interns are supposed to only intern for like, you know, a couple months. I was there for like 9 months. I remember I was like, okay, like you're not going to offer me a job. That's fine. Like I'll be out like literally next week. Like, cool. Thanks for this. I take a step back and I go, all right, Mike, you did music, entertainment, streetwear, social media. Can you look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you can do this on your own? I go, yeah, fuck yeah, easy. And the people that are behind me and in support of it, they got my back. So I have Koreatown on Instagram, right?
When did you get that
In
handle?
high school, sophomore year.
Wow.
I was the last one of my friend group to get an iPhone because, you know, the Blackberries, and I had no one on BBM anymore.
Yeah.
And they were like, go get the iPhone. I'm like, I get no iPhone, dog. I'm going to stick with the Blackberry. And I got it, and they were like, sign up for Instagram. I signed up, and I put Koreatown. Didn't even think about it. Nothing. Koreatown. And I got that because I knew in high school, sophomore year, I was going to move to LA and live in Koreatown. That's the only reason why.
That's wild.
So I kept it, stashed it for years and years. And then all that internship phase, I go, well, you have this thing. You live in K-Town. You are Korean American. Your Korean's not that great, but you know, you don't care. And like, it's like, yo, why don't you find out who you are as a Korean American and learn through the neighborhood that you live in what it means to be Korean American or just Korean. So growing up for me, I always had this label that I always had in my head that was like the bad Korean, right? You can't speak Korean well. You can't read or write it. You know what? Like, especially through family functions, they're like, tell my mom, like, how come he doesn't know Korean? I would always have to hear that. So that had something in my heart that was like, oh man, not scared to be Korean, but it was like, I can never go to Korea by myself, you know, some stuff like that. And like, I had kind of this resentment towards myself. I was like, I'm a bad Korean. Like, what is it to be a good Korean? And I guess that was like my chip on my shoulder that I had. And so starting this, I was just like, nah, man, you can really like, let's learn. Let's like go through the neighborhood that you have a different lens and outlook on because you're not from LA. But why not tell tell your story about it? So 200 followers. I go, let's open it up to the public. Don't show your face or your personality. You strictly talk about the neighborhood. So it starts with food, events that are happening in the neighborhood. And then later on, if you can, and you're not shy, you talk about the people in the neighborhood. Started with food right away. It like struck a chord with everyone and it hit. Not only do I have a voice within the community that I live in now, but people would check in and be like, dude, I've been in LA for 10 years or I grew up here in LA and I never knew these restaurants existed. And I was like, damn, it's working. And then food. And then just got super popular, like overnight sensation kind of thing. And then I was like, this is great. I love it. I'm meeting so many incredible people in the neighborhood, and they're behind my back. They got my back. Fast forward a couple months later, Nguyen, who I do Run Club and Love Hour with. Nguyen also went to VCU. Is also from Virginia, but I never knew of him. I knew of him in college, but never met him before. I met him in LA when we moved here the second time. Well, when I moved here the second time, and we tapped in, hung out. You know, he really liked what I was doing with the neighborhood and just in tap with everything. And he goes, Mike, how would you like to do a run club? And I go, a run club. And, you know, high school, I played a lot of sports. Like, I still consider myself athletic and still very yeah, I just care about that. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Let's see what happens. And I remember I posted on Instagram. And at that time, it was really weird to like post something and then someone comes and you have to interact with them from the internet.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. 25 people showed up at the Line Hotel and they were like, yeah, we just want to see who was running the account, but we're here to run. And I was like, oh, okay. We had no idea what we were doing. We must have done like a mile or two that day. Came back, super stoked. I feel great. Met 25 new friends and they were like, when's the next one? And we looked at each other. We're like, oh shit. I guess next week, same time. Never missed a beat 7 years later.
Wow.
You know, between me and Dewey, we have well over probably 15, 20 marathons under our belt. But then, you know, there's hundreds of people that come each week and we're 4 days a week right now.
4 days a week, you meet up and you run with like hundreds of random people.
Yes, correct.
And you don't even like running.
You know what? I like to say that a lot. And it's like this running joke that I've been doing for the past
no pun intended
years. But deep down inside, if I'm being honest with you guys, I love running. It's just you know what I mentioned before to you guys. It's the hardest thing to hold yourself accountable to, of physical activity, to like better yourself and be consistent. And I haven't reached that for myself. So I guess it is a crutch for me to like later down the line, you know, have this incredible, beautiful crew of people that can get me back into it. But yeah, I'm just taking a break right now. Yeah.
You guys recently did a Oakley campaign.
Yep.
And I heard that you did it injured.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I was injured, yes. And yeah, we do a lot of things with brands, which is really awesome. And I'm just thankful the brands love what we're doing and we're able to be a part of whatever project they're doing at the time. But, you know, then you fast forward with the community of the Run Club and knowing what we've built, can it transition into another space or another industry that we've never tapped into? So you bring Jimmy Han into the picture, and he's a Koreatown local and just an overall legend. And he's been our someone that we really look up to and inspire and just show us the ropes in life, and just took on that big brother role for us. And he goes, hey, he had this bar called Beer Belly in K-Town. And he was like, I'm not really feeling the beer game anymore. I want to get into food more and figure out a new thing to do. And I wanted to tap in with you guys. And we were like, oh, burgers. We're going to do burgers. And we sat down, tried hundreds of burgers, I remember. And we brought in his chef from his previous restaurant, Chef Aaron. And we made this beautiful smash burger that was unbelievable. And, you know, we thought of all the names and the concept, and we got it done. And we thought of Love Hour. And we did our first pop-up out of our parking lot, which is out of our brick and mortar now. And I remember we had about 300 of our friends come out. 4 blocks, huge line, sold out 45 minutes. By our 7th pop-up, we got invited to Coachella.
Nice.
And ever since then, it's been a roller coaster ride. So we've done Coachella now. We just got back from Coachella. We've done it 3 times now. for the past 3 years. And that's just such a huge blessing for us, because not only do you get the most exposure at it from Coachella, but man, like, transitioning into a brick and mortar now, it's like people coming in just like still love the burger, and we're all having fun doing it. And, the big question that we always ask each other is, how do you build community within the four walls of the brick and mortar? And that's what we're figuring out to this day.
Yeah. I want to do a little checkpoint with you, man.
Sure.
Because, you're just dropping a lot of really dope stuff. So, moving from VA to LA with no like career aspirations.
No career aspirations. Yeah.
I think I just like the culture of LA, or what I understand LA to be. Like, I think there are people who are like me over there.
Yes.
So then you came here, and then you're like, oh shoot, okay, your homie's like, we got to do some internships. So it's like, okay, well, what am I interested in?
Right.
And then it's okay, music, and then okay, like all right, streetwear, okay, like social media, like, so you're just literally following the breadcrumbs of like, I'm doing the thing that I like, and then as I did that thing, I see, oh shoot, I see another like trail over there. Let me go do that. And then you have this reset moment where you go back home, and you're just like back in school, failing out of your classes, confirmation, this is not for me.
Right.
I got to go back. So I'm imagining that you have even more of a fire to like really double down.
100%. And that fire still has not gone.
Right. I can sense that.
It's that second time coming back. I definitely told myself that it's all going to work out from here. It's going to.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that moment, making that decision for myself. And it was like, hey, my mom's not going to pay my bills. My friends' moms aren't going to pay my bills. So it's like, who are you to tell me when I'm about to go out for this adventure the second time of like, how are you going to tell me that I can't do this? Like, unless you're going to pay rent for me and, give me an allowance or something, whatever it is. And it's like, I have to go and figure it out for myself and
100%.
make something out of it, of life. So,
but you know what also strikes me about that is that you're not chasing the bag, bro.
You know what? 100%. I think the bag is not important at all. I'm not saying it's not, because you have to, you have to eat, you have to have a roof over your head, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's a bigger cause of like doing what you love. No questions asked. You have to enjoy what we do, and then you kind of pray, and there's a little luck that's involved that hopefully you do end up making something,
right? Because
people love and enjoy it as well. But money's never a question to ask or think about when we do start projects of new projects that we start. It's just like, how do we be more consistent and do it essentially forever?
Right.
And that's really the goal.
But like the way that you're like, okay, man, I'm interning at these dope places. Like these are essentially like they're businesses, right? They're companies that you're attaching yourself to that generate revenue.
Sure.
And then there's like, let's start a run club. There's no money in that.
Right.
Like there's no like, yo, we're gonna start a run club and we're gonna ball out from this thing, right?
Right.
There's zero of that. You're like, let's just put it out there. Let's see who shows up. 25 people showed up. They're like, when's the next one? I guess next week. And then I'm sure you're not thinking like, okay, what's the business model behind this?
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's to this day, it's like, I'm not so much business savvy as I should be, but I should be, and everyone should be.
I think you are though, and here's why I say that, because like, there's different schools of thought towards like what makes a successful business.
Sure,
but every industry is the business of people. Literally every single industry involves people. And I think that's the thing that you have sort of like honed in on. Like, it's all about the people, period, first. So then now you develop this community of people that are down to show up to this run club, probably because they also know you from the other things, like the barbershop, like the people that you've met through streetwear, and as you're doing the internship there and all the heads that you met in that space. And then now you're like, you got this huge running community. It's like, hey guys, I'm going to do like a burger pop-up. Then your whole community rallies to you because they trust you. Yep. They're like, this guy's dope and everything that he does is dope. So like, if he's going to do a burger pop-up, like we're the first ones in line to support that. You know what I'm saying? So I'd love to see if you even like like identify where that like community, that like authentic, like why do I love community so much?
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, what is community to you?
I think for me it stems from me not wanting to be alone. I think that's where it really stems from. So I have to be around people. I have to be the class clown and like,
So you're extroverted.
yeah, like make people laugh and like say something just so I can get a reaction out of you, right? And I still do it to this day. And yeah, maybe it even stems from not being like, I don't want to be lonely. And so it's like people. How can I put them first and myself second, and then even sacrifice that at times for the greater good? It's like, I don't know what the greater good is, but I think that's where it really stems from. You know, growing up, awesome dad, awesome mom, awesome sister, like, you know, no qualms. It was grew up awesome. Everything was great. But man, it was this thing where it's like, and in a loving family as well. But when it comes to community, I think that's where it stems from. It's like, I can't do it by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. I'd much rather do it with my friend and pick him up or pick her up, and let's just do it together.
I resonate with that for
you
sure.
know? Like,
Yeah,
let's finish the
absolutely.
race together. Like, I don't have to be first or second. It's like, as long as you can get the feeling that I've had or achieved or want to do, it's always a win.
That's great.
Based off everything that you have done, just hearing your story,
Yep.
you know, like Ben said, whether it be like picking up a sweeping job to interning at 4 different places, or the run club, the burger stuff, you know, how much would you say of that stuff like you kind of manifested for yourself? Like, this is kind of what I want to do, so I'm gonna go for it, versus like it kind of showed up and you responded correctly?
I think it's 50-50 both. And there's a little luck involved. It's I just knew when I left Virginia that there was a bigger purpose and I was going to go get it. So something like the barbershop was like home base for me. And that's how I developed my communication skills. Everyone would come in, yo, what up? You chop it up with each individual customer that comes up in that environment of a barbershop. And then you can kind of take on the world. And then they kind of it translates into, you know, work and everything. But that's, you know, gave me so much opportunity with the internships, because that's where I met those guys and was able to get it. But, you know, the barbershop for me was home base. I was never scared to be who I was. And my personality shined every day in that barbershop. I was a wild kid, screaming, drinking, like trying to party with everyone. And they were just like, this kid is fucking wild. And I was like, great, at least my barbers know that, you know, and they have fun like hanging out with me. But it was like, man, what if the whole world knows my personality, right?
Yeah.
What if I can like be best friends with my favorite artists that, you know, that I'm a big fan of, you know? And it's pretty crazy. It's the barbershop it was a cornerstone to pretty much everything that I do. And kind of going back to that, actually, like, you know, I really wanted to cut hair.
Yeah.
Because I fell in love with that space. And I was like, what better way to really do it is to cut hair, your friend's hair, and like whoever's hair. And it's like therapy, right? And I wanted to be the therapist for everyone. And you know, later down the line, I took a class, apprenticeship, and I lasted maybe 2 months, and I was like, oh, this is not for me. This is not for me. But there's still deep down inside, I do have a side where I want to go finish that, get my license, and then open up a shop, just because that was part of my history of everything that I've done. Yeah,
you know, there's such a like a magnetic like aura that you have, and like and what no I'm just calling it how I feel it. No, but I think that magnetism is not something that you are trying to do. you know how some people are like, man, I gotta be a good salesman. I gotta train. I gotta know how to sell. There's all these tactics. There's these skills, right? And that stuff is legit. That does exist. But there's also the natural ability to quote unquote sell. And I use that as like, you're not selling anything by a tactic. You're just being authentic, and you're being passionate, and you're being a person that loves the person first. Like I want to just get to know you. I don't care whether you like want to do the thing that I'm trying to do or not. I just want to hang out with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that to me is like true quote unquote sales. But that's like you are gathering people and like you are now like, I'm here for you. And then when they feel that, they're like, hey, I want to be there for you. Like whatever you do now, like I want to be there for you. And not even just because you've been such a support to me, I want to support you. They're just like, I want to be with you. And as you were talking about like you not wanting to do anything by yourself, because maybe it's just not as fun, right? Let's just chalk it up to like, it's just not as fun. It's more fun when other people are there. But even when I look at the Run Club and like you guys do these runs together versus people can go run by themselves. Like, I mean, when I trained for my half, I did a lot by myself. But when I did it with the Run Club, I was like, this is just way more fun. You know what I mean?
Funny enough, with the Run Club, I really enjoy running by myself.
I do too.
Versus the Run Club. And, you know, someone asked me the other day, or they asked us, and they were like, oh, when Dewey and Mike, like, when's the last time you guys ran together? And we like paused. And we looked at each other. 7 years in, we never ran with each other.
Wow.
No. Not
and
once.
You guys started it together.
Yeah, not once together. Like,
not even the first one?
Not even like, no. I mean, yes, together, I guess, in a sense, like with other people. But like one-on-one.
Oh, yeah. Just
hey, Dewey, let's go for a run. We've never done that for 7 years. And that really caught us off guard. And it was like,
what do you think that is for you? Why do you think for yourself you enjoy running by yourself?
Because I'm just trying to get all my thoughts out.
Yeah.
And I don't want people saying, hi, hello.
Sure.
How was your day? And then I had to take my headphones off. And it's like, dude, like I'm actually trying to like decompress and like really let everything out. And then do this one actually for me. Because I need it. But there are definitely times when I love running with the run group because we hold each other accountable. And that's sometimes you want that. Yeah.
I'm the same, bro. I think running and or working out is the only place where I am introverted, right? Like I just want to be alone. And like, cause it's just what you said, like you just want to like handle your mission. And then like, listen to what you want to listen to or whatever it is. And then just like knock it out. And then I'm ready to like be around the world.
You're doing LA Marathon next year.
I am.
How did we get you to sign up for it?
That's the whole goal of this pod.
I hate running.
I mean, but you know you can do a marathon. Like physically.
I mean, I don't doubt that. You know, like, I mean, I actually just impressed myself over this last month. I also just came back from Coachella. I was performing out there with Jackson, and I remember when we first signed up for it, I was like, damn, like I haven't been on stage for like a 45-minute set in like ever. You know, like this is gonna be a lot. And so the whole like month and a half I was getting ready for it. Like in my mind, it was just a subconscious condition, just sweating it out, just keep going. And the thing is, like, that's not. If you look at my style of dance, for everybody who's like familiar with my style of dance, I'm not like the energy movement, sweat till you drop type of mover. I'm like a very like minimalist, less is more, thinker, not necessarily mover, like physicality, more of like a mental mover in a sense. So for me, that kind of contradiction was like a big change. But I do remember thinking to myself, once we started getting through the runs and my conditioning, my stamina started going up, I was like, I'm like way more physically capable of doing something of that nature than I ever thought possible. And you know, things did flirt through my mind. I was like, how much farther can I go? What is my physical capacity for things like this? But to me, running is so boring. It's so boring. But that's also because I've never gone to a place that like many runners have talked about. The thing that like actually compels me the most is the idea of like the runner's high. Never ran so far that I got a runner's high. I ran far enough to be fucking tired and want to chill or be sore because I don't do it often, you know what I mean? But like I never really got there. I never used running as a means to decompress. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've only done it as a physical chore.
I got you. Yeah, as a chore.
You know, so I don't know. I could I actually 2 days ago, my wife, she was just like, hey, I'm gonna try and do a half marathon by the end of the year.
Let's go, bro.
And I was like,
Wow, look at this, man. This is
a prophecy right now, bro.
This is the greater good, you know what I mean? The higher purpose that nobody knows about. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, you know, maybe.
Let's get it, bro.
I was signed off on it too, you know, I always had like lower back pain, I got Osgood-Schlatter, you know what I mean? I had different things that I was just like, running specifically, like that activity consistently kind of like hurts
strains
me.
your body, yeah. For sure.
But I think I can get through it, and it does sound more exciting nowadays than it has before, so, you know.
Have you only ran like on a treadmill, or have you actually ran like?
No, I've ran like, you know, through the city and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
again,
yeah.
like I'll tap out after like max 2 miles, you know, 1 mile usually, because it's like a part of something else. Like going for the run is not the thing. Going for the run is like the warm up for the thing. You know what I'm saying? But no, I hate running.
Hey, I understand, bro. I used to hate running too, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is painful. And then there's also we said we weren't going to talk about running. I guess we're just talking about running.
This is a running. This is a running podcast.
Okay, just real quick on it. I hated it, and then something like a COVID happened, and then I was like, well, frig, all the gyms are closed. Like, I definitely need to get my movement in.
Sure,
and then so I'm like, I'm gonna be outdoors. I even had a mask on, like, because that's when we thought COVID was just literally everywhere, just gonna attack us.
Yeah.
So I was like running with the mask on, and then I'm running through these parks, and then like trees. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna hit up the beach, running through the boardwalk, ocean. I'm like, damn, this is pretty therapeutic. And then like, I found myself running. I was like, dude, I just ran 8 miles.
Yeah,
and
man.
you get lost in it.
Yeah.
And then there's like the proud feeling of like, dude, I could do this. That's when I was like, and then Rob hit me up and was like, hey bro, I see you've been running. You want to do the Rose Bowl half marathon? I'm like,
Muraoka?
yeah. I was like, yes, I would love to do a half marathon. So I did it. But then I also had
shout out Rob, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear.
And funny thing though, he didn't even show up for the because dude, literally, but it wasn't his fault. Literally the morning of, like he got into a car accident. So he's like, bro,
shit.
we got into a car accident. We're not gonna. I'm like, are you guys okay? He's like, yeah, we're fine, but I don't think we're gonna make it. I'm like, all good. But that was actually better because I was thinking, oh, I gotta run with Rob. Thinking in my head, I got to run with him. We're doing this together. So like, he's my running buddy. And for me, like, whatever, I'm not trying to make myself like this, whatever crazy athlete guy. But whenever I work out, like, I don't want to be slowed down by anybody. I want to just go at the pace that I want to go. So if I'm going fast and oh shoot, I'm going to go fast. I don't want to feel like I should slow down because my homie's back there or whatever. So I think it was actually perfect that I was my first half marathon that my friend invited me to. But he couldn't end up doing it. So it was just by myself. And I just plugged in. I just put on a 3-hour podcast. Yeah. And I just ran. And my goal was, asking my friends, like, what's a good time? Like, I want to get like a good time. But like for a half, if you can nail it under 2 hours,
you're chilling.
Good. What is that, 13 miles?
13.1, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I had plantar fasciitis that entire week before I couldn't run. I could barely walk.
That's gnarly.
So then I did.
Did you develop that from training?
Yes. Because I was training hard, bro. Yeah. I was like going in, I was doing like 9-mile days.
See, this contradiction is throwing me off right now.
But there's the silver lining to this was, so I was like, okay, the whole week before, I was like, I'm gonna heal. I got like freaking, PRP injections into my foot, all the stuff. I went crazy,
man,
bro.
You're an NBA player, man.
I was like, I need to get ready for this run. I'm not gonna not do this. I've been training for this for months. Yeah. So then the day before, which was Saturday, I'm like, okay, I gotta at least try a run before going into this half marathon tomorrow. So I was like, all right, let me go for like the chill, like 4 mile. I did 4 miles, like, bro, I feel kind of good. I don't feel pain. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I prepped all my stuff. I got all my freaking gels and like my salt pills and like, and I got like, I did all the stretches. I looked up all the YouTube videos. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get ready for this. And like, so race day, I'm feeling good. I'm like, dude, I'm ready to go. Yeah. So then we start running. I'm cruising. I'm like, oh, bro, we got this. Like, I'm good. And then mile 5 hits, boom. It just, the pain is excruciating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got 8 more to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But at that moment, you really realize who you are.
Yes, like, that's really what it was.
It's like, you could easily back out, exit the course, and just be like, yo, I'm physically hurt. Right. This might injure my entire running career. Yeah. So you kind of, there's so much emotions going through your head at that time. I can't imagine, right? And it's like, you continue on.
You continue on.
You know?
And I just pressed through, and then my homie, who was my roommate at the time, he was giving me all these like, you know, mental tricks. Like imagine like fresh blood flow going into your injured area, and that's just cleansing. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do that. So I just kept thinking that. And then I pressed through all the way. And then the last mile, the 13th mile is like the hardest one because you're like almost there. Yeah. So your mind starts to shut off like, oh, you're almost there, bro. You're almost there. And then pain starts to get even more. So I'm like, nope.
It's like when you need to take a shit in the car. Exactly. And the closer you get to the bathroom, it's like about to explode.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's exactly that, bro. It's 100% that. And so I pushed through, and I'm looking at my, you know, I have my Apple Watch. Shout out to the homies that got me the Apple Watch. That I'm like, okay, if I need to make it, I got to kind of crank it up right now. So then I just started going faster. Yeah. So I did it in hour 57. So I knocked it out in 157. Yeah. And now as I cross the line, now I'm like, am I just gonna just fall over and die right now? Because like the adrenaline's down. So then I kind of slow down my pace, I kind of walk it off a little bit. And then immediately, you know, they give you that little friggin' space blanket or whatever. Right. And I'm just like, whatever, getting warmed up. And then I just start stretching, and I'm like, and I get up and I walked through. I was like, bro, I'm chilling. Like even the pain kind of went away. Yeah. Like it was weird. So my whole takeaway from it, yes, you can do 13.1 miles. That's great. But it's the mental thing of like, if you can push your body beyond what you think your body is telling you, and your mind says like, nope, we're going to finish. That's the thing that I'm like, wow.
It unlocks another door.
100%.
Literally to life. It's like that tough time that no one had your back and it was just you. You realize like, wow, I can do way much more in life just because of this small experience, which is really crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I think my takeaway was like, okay, like I could do a lot more than I feel I can do. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, the next progression is the full. So I'm like, here we go. I'm going to do it, you know, next year. But no, so I mean, going back to, like just the ability to draw people together, this like sort of magnetism thing that you have, it comes from, I think, your ability to just be unapologetically you and authentic and be unashamed of all the things that you feel represent you. Skater kid, Korean American who doesn't speak Korean very well. I'm into clothes. I'm into, you know, food. I want to be a barber. You know what I mean? There's a specific music genre that you just gravitate towards. And I think what that is everybody has a version of that where they're like, oh shoot, like I want to hang out with people who think like I do, or I want to hang out with people who are interested in the same things that I'm interested in. And so then tribes form, like the tribe will find itself. Yeah. And I think for you, from what, even like, dude, I've been following the Koreatown account for years, not knowing who you were. And then when I found out, I was like, oh shoot, you're Koreatown. Yeah. And then I met you, and then like skater kid, check. Korean American, check. Hip hop, check. Streetwear, check. Food, check. I'm like, bro, you're just me, bro. Right. You know what I mean? Like we're like kindred spirits. Right. And I've also learned that I have this like weird sort of like people just kind of tend to like, I don't know, I build these tribes and stuff. I just find I find my tribes, my tribes find me kind of thing. And not even to like put so much thought behind it other than, cool, let's keep going together. Let's just keep building together. Not thinking like, oh shoot, what's going on? What should we do now? It's like, well, how's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? You know what I mean? And I feel like you have this natural sense because it's authentic to who you are to like just be that person for people. And you even mentioned like therapist, like I could be your therapist. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man, podcasting kind of somehow becomes that too. We 100%. Just have these really just deep talks and stuff. And so with that though, like, I mean, all these other projects, like from Bicycle Meals to Excel the Youth, like how do those things like kind of come about? Was it just also just organically like, what else could we do?
So top of the pandemic, I remember at that time we were doing small gatherings, and you know, if you found out your friends, your small group was having people over for drinks, you'd be like, what? You can't do that. Like, who have they seen? Like, do they have COVID? You know, you're supposed to be in the house. Mm-hmm. We did one of those like shh type, like,
Oh,
come
we've done a
over,
handful
come
of those.
over, like, we're just gonna drink 5 people. And
We did
the
that with
more-
like 30.
we did it a lot. We did it a lot. The more we did that, same thing that I would bring up when I was drunk. I was like, man, I gotta like dig deeper. Like, how do we touch the community even more? And they're like, what are you thinking? I'm like, well, I've always wanted to do something with the homeless issue as a whole, but like, let's just narrow it down to Koreatown. There's like a lot of encampments and homeless people running around, and it's like, how do you give a handout just to them? And I always knew it was going to be providing food, but how are you going to provide food? How many days are you going to provide food? So that kind of freaked me out in the beginning, but the homie was just like, do a fucking Monday, dog. Like, you've been talking about this shit for so many times. Like, we're sick of hearing it. Like, it's just like, just do it. You know, like, it just struck a chord. And it was that Friday we got together drinking, and I was like, shit, man. Like, Monday? I was like, yeah, fuck it, dude. Monday. And like, I put all the pieces together. You know, bicycle meals. We're gonna, you know, we all ride it. We all we enjoy riding our bikes. And it's like, let's get our homies to get on bikes with backpacks, and we're gonna pack brown lunches, brown paper bag lunches in our apartment. Sandwich, fruit, water, snacks, and we're gonna do that fucking 3 days a week. And the first year we did that, and it was a huge. We just felt really accomplished, and we loved doing it and build rapport with our unhoused, and we continued on. And it was later down the line, it was out of pocket. We were kind of like, wow, this is kind of tough. A year in, we might have to scale back. So we found a beautiful temple out in Norwalk that was able to provide, well, they provide thousands of lunches, hot meals every Sunday. And they reached out and they were like, hey, if you want to take like 150, 200 meals every Sunday and pick them up in Norwalk, we're super happy to like provide that for you. So we've been with them for the past almost 2 years now. So every Sunday we meet at Emmanuel Presbyterian Church in K-Town, Sundays at noon. We have an awesome crew of volunteers that come, take the hot meals, put in their backpacks, and literally just scoot away. We have the same routes every Sunday, so the same people get the same food. And it's usually vegetarian, which is awesome. But it takes about 45 minutes to volunteer and pass everything out. And that really just stemmed from me wanting to do something and my friends being like, just do it. Like, stop talking shit, you know? And we've been doing it almost 3 years now, which is really awesome. And really excited to expand it a little more. But we also have one in Austin, Texas. So if anyone's over in Austin, Texas, they can join Bicycle Meals out there. And then this past, I would say, month now, we started Excel the Youth. Excel is just a program for the kids that we teamed up with our library, Pio Pico, with LA County. And that was just one thing that we wanted to do for the kids. Like, hey, I still to this day want to be a big brother, big sister. You know, I wish I had a younger sibling, but I don't. But that was kind of a way of like, let me just give back and like be with the kids. And, you know, I remember we put Instagram thing out and it did so well, but none of our friends' kids showed up. And we're just like, we were in the library. We're like, shit, there's 0 kids. And it kind of, I had the same butterfly feeling I did when we first started Run Club. Put the message out. People come. Like, let's see if people come. But in this case, nobody came. So it was a humbling experience because we're just sitting there and I'm like, man, fuck it. There's like 10 kids in this library right now. I'm gonna scoop these motherfuckers up right now. And we're gonna go in this room and we're gonna do what we were told, what we were set to do. And I think the first one, man, what was the first one? What did we do for the first one? Oh, so long ago, I guess. I forgot what we did, but we got 10 of the kids in the room and they were like, what are we doing? And we did like an activity or something. And we had pizza after. And we do that every Tuesday to this day. So we're slowly building that. We had one yesterday, which was game day. The week before, we did bracelets with a friend. And we just have friends come in, tell their story. And and then have an activity that they do.
Mm.
So it's been an interesting learning experience for me, because it's like, they're not my siblings. They're literally just random kids from the library that from school, they come to the library, they don't get to eat much. You know, they're probably starving, and then they go home. And these kids range from 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, they're just kids. They just scream all day and they just want pizza, dude. That's all they want. So man, it's awesome. There's that entire group I see every week, and they're an awesome group. They just like,
let me get this straight. You're picking up food on Sundays. You're riding your bike, delivering this out a couple days a week. You're running like 4 times a week. You're working with kids. You're doing all this stuff. So how the fuck you have all this time?
So I'll answer that right now. Is the team that I have is the most important. I couldn't do this by myself. That's impossible. I'll go crazy. I do go crazy every week, but it's all to the people that we have on board to help run it together. And if I can't make it one day because I'm traveling, or they can't make it one day, the communication's always there. But for me, to be honest with you guys, is yes, it's run club, it's food, it's unhoused, it's giving back to the kids. I want to do all this for the rest of my life and add new projects. And it's as simple as, I just want to do things that I think everyone should do, but also have a part in, but the city should do. But there's definitely city. It goes deeper than that, right? I'm not too educated with like politics on this side yet, but it's like, yo, if I want to park in K-Town, that's what I'm gonna set out to do for the next 3 years.
Let's go.
There's gonna be a fucking park in K-Town. I swear to God. But it's like, next year let's do a community garden. I'm like, well, that's my project, and I'm gonna be the best fucking person to do, like, get in that. And like, for the kid stuff, all this stuff that we're doing is just like, I want to be the best, meaning like, I just want to learn, like, what are the kids going through day to day? Like, what are they teaching them at school? How are they feeling? What are they eating at school? And I'm asking all these questions like a big brother. It's like, how's your mom and dad? Like, are you good? Like, are you hungry? Like, and it fulfills a little bit of just like what I'm missing in life, right? And so it's like, if I'm missing something or craving something, I'm just gonna make up and do it. And if people are on board, I'm cool with that. But man, what a hit for me when like there's no kids when we first started it, and I go, fuck, this is gonna be a long journey. And with that, it's like, man, it's, you know, I'm very hopeful of like expanding it to all the other libraries in LA County, right? But I'm gonna do it at home base, and ride it out. And there's just incredible people of friends that like want to help, which is really beautiful to see. But yeah, it just also all stems from, man, I live in Cape Town, so it's like, what do I think people could benefit from, or selfishly what I could benefit from, like, that I want, that I think I need. And it's like, I'm just gonna go do it, but we're gonna do it with friends.
That's very amazing, because like, you know, I'm glad, one, that you're I don't know what the right word is. I almost want to say like mature enough to acknowledge that there's like a self-interest in the things that you want to create or build and stuff like that. But what it sounds like, in a very admirable way, is the things that like fulfill something for yourself are incredibly selfless things. There are like many very intense acts of service that take like consistency and take a lot of like leaps of faith. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're so hot right now. I'm just saying right now, dude. I'm like hearing all this stuff. I'm like, yo, I should be a better person. You know, in the dopest way though. But it does lead me to I'm recollecting again, like after everything we've been talking about, you've, you know, nonchalantly mentioned things like higher purpose, or you know, stuff like that. Like how much, and just based off of like the actions and the deeds of like all these very, very selfless and consistent things and services, how much of like what you do is faith-based, or, you know, like there's maybe a higher purpose or something like that compels
I would say
you?
more so higher purpose. You know, for me, it's like, I always think about when I'm left on this earth and I'm long gone, I do usually think about like, especially like getting into more project. It's like I just want to service the people, but it's like, man, when I'm long gone, it's like what am I leaving behind?
Mm.
And like for me, I just want it to be like a kid that's like just a little Korean kid that's like, or whoever it is, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be a Korean kid, but it's like the youth basically saying, I can be myself
Mm.
and I can teach others about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could do that through doing a sneaker collab or doing this, and it's like, wow, like how is he able to do this? It's like, man, I don't know. I have no idea. But it's like I'm just doing the things that I think is right and like doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And if I can get my friends involved, that's a plus too. But man, I just want the kids to just be like, man, it's cool to be Korean. It's like I could be myself, and I'm happy with that. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of like a sneaker collab and stuff, I mean, you know, you have, I mean, because you've been in that space, you've been in that field, you have these relationships with these brands. I mean, you guys did a hundreds collab with the marathon. You got Nike's sponsored Koreatown Run Club. You did Pabst Blue Ribbon Pleasures Love Hour collab for Coachella. Like you're doing these like legit collab things. And what's cool is that is, I mean, the collab came from street culture, bro. Like that's like that, like, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's like, oh, I'm friends with you. We should do something together. Let's make a t-shirt.
And that's all it is, man. Together. I think people overthink like, oh man, how are you doing this? And it's like, man, we're just buds. Like, we've been at it for 10 years, and it's like we've seen each other grow, and it's like there's going to be a time where it makes sense to do something together. And you know, it's just crazy. That's how the conversation happens. It's like, yo, I have this project that's perfect for you. And then it's like, oh shit, this is perfect for me.
That's why when you guys did the April Fool's Target, we're in Targets now. I so believe that's like, bro, I'm going to Target now.
So we did a April Fool's. Dewey put out a thing where we did a collab with Target, and it was in all Target stores. And me forgetting it was April 1st, I look at it and I go, what the fuck is this? And I go, sick.
Yeah, bro, that was sick.
And I go, sick. I had no idea we did that. And I go, that's kind of crazy. And then I realized during the comments, it was like, oh, good joke, right? But our runners took it a step further. And, you know, there's so many creatives within the run club, you know, the designers and stuff. And I remember someone, they went to Target. They either put our shirt on the racks,
no way,
or just edited it. And then there was like just all our stuff everywhere in the store. And I was just like looking at it, and I'm like, is this like photoshopped? I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And it was just beautifully photoshopped. And then they posted that. People were like, holy shit, dude, you guys are in Target. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know at this point. And I go, I think it's a joke, but like maybe you can go check. So that was a pretty good one recently.
Hey, well, let's put that out there. That Target's gonna see that, like, wow, this got a lot of engagement. Maybe we should hit these guys up.
Yeah, it looked cool being in Target.
It looked super cool, bro. Cool. You kidding me? I was like, I was about to hit a Target that day.
Then a cease and desist comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, bro, yeah, you're doing so many amazing things, bro. Like, and again, the word is community, and community is what every human being longs for, needs to be a part of.
Yep.
And you're also figuring out how to make a livelihood out of it. You got Love Hour, you got different projects that you're a part of. So, you know, there's a career aspect for you where you gotta eat, you gotta pay your rent and all that stuff. And then there's like the humanitarian side to the side where you just want to be a good human being so that you can leave some sort of a legacy. All that wrapped into this package of success. My life is, if I achieve X, I am successful. How do you define that X, that success for you?
That's a great question. I think that X for me is just, I think it's just family. everything that I do, you know, it's like to this day, I'm still like a mama's boy, you know, it's like I can hear my mom right now and like, don't leave, like you're not going to LA. Right. And if I never took that leap of faith for myself, you know, by the way, everything that I'm doing is also for my mother. It's like just showing her that like, hey, I told you I was going to do all this, you know, and I still have this thing in my in my heart that's like, I have this guilt because I actually didn't tell her I was leaving LA for LA. I just left. And 4 days later, she called and she was like, where the fuck are you? And I go, oh shit, I'm in Tennessee. Oh, you're at Bobby's house? And all the moms called. 3 moms called. And they're like, get home right now. And then I remember asking Bobby's parents, I go, are you guys going to pay my bills? They're like, what the fuck? And I go, are you going to pay my bills? And they go, no. And I go, well, then relax. Like, I have to do this for myself. And they're like, wow, like you should. And I think that's when my mom realized, like, she's like, it's heartbreaking how I did it. But you know, looking back at it now, it's like defining success. I don't know, like we're just chasing success at all times. And I don't know, like when that will, man, it's just this never ending loop. Right. But I would define it as like family for me. It's like, you know, just doing it for moms. That's all.
No, that's nice. That's
doing
beautiful.
it for moms, man.
That
Doing
is,
it for moms.
that is,
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
So as we call this show Movement in the Shadows, you know, that's like a saying that we have. It's one of the tenets that we stand on. And I think everybody has their own movement in the shadows, the stuff that happens behind closed doors, things that people don't see, the times where you're discouraged, the times where you're grinding it out, the times like, you know, where you're just like, am I even doing the right thing?
Yeah.
How would you define movement in the shadows for you? Like, what is your movement in the shadows?
I think, you know, every person you meet, never judge what they're going through because someone's going through something. I mean, I think you nailed it too. It's like, man, it's tough, you know, day to day. It's like what you're trying to accomplish, but you know, life throws a lot of obstacles your way. But, you know, just recently, just dealing with like grief of death and with friends and, you know, bringing up all that, it's like, just never forget when you meet somebody, what grief they're going through, because everyone's going through grief. And yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's like, it almost feels like it just happened. Everything happened overnight. But it's like, you know, from what we talked about today, it was like, man, there's so many steps to it to get to where we are today. And I think just also taking the time to acknowledge that we're all okay and letting you, I guess, like cherish those moments, really, you know, like take a second to be like, yo, we accomplished all this. And it's like, it's okay to like take a break or like, you know, just encourage yourself to like look at those accolades, right? And I think that's what we forget too. But man, I think one thing is like I've started to notice is like, yeah, just when you meet people going through their journey, just know that they are going through some grief of their life, and it's just being more sensitive to people. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we love to wrap each episode with a fun little lightning round. So we're going to toss some questions at you. Here we go. Lightning in 3, 2, 1. What is your favorite K-Town food establishment outside of Love Hour?
Pollo a la brasa. Hands down, best rotisserie chicken in the game.
Where's it at?
Wow. It's Western 8th.
Okay,
8th
cool.
Western.
I'm asking selfishly because I'm
Nice.
try it.
What's your favorite tattoo on your body and what does it mean?
Favorite tattoo is probably my chest tattoo, which is like a crazy spider, Japanese crazy thing. Like my good friend Koji did the tattoo, but he passed away like not too long ago. But you know, that sentimental value, I guess. Yeah.
What is your favorite WWE tag team?
Oh man, the Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys.
Okay. Yep.
For sure.
What is your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Saturday. I never really watched cartoons growing up.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
What would you say is your vice?
Drinking, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
For
everybody
sure.
in
Love.
this room
I really enjoy a nice, just like 2-cube whiskey glass and man, the occasional cigarette. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's divine.
It's divine.
Dude.
Yeah.
We'll do a whiskey night sometime. What is your favorite cereal?
Two cereals. Growing up, I would eat Smacks. You remember Smacks?
Yes.
Yeah,
Honey
for
Smacks
sure.
with the
Yeah.
frog.
With the frog.
Yeah.
And then there was I think that's discontinued. Maybe it's not. Honey O's.
Honey
Honey
O's,
O's
yeah,
are
yeah.
bomb.
The little
Oh my-
cluster thing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are,
Oh my god, those are
fire.
like my favorite.
Yeah, those
Oh my
are fire.
god, yeah.
The yellow box.
But
right?
then you know, yes. And then Captain Crunch with berries,
Oh,
dude.
bro,
It's like
I was a peanut
classic.
butter crunch guy. I
Okay.
love peanut butter crunch.
loser.
Yeah, I love my peanut butter, bro. What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Or how about worst movie you've seen lately that I just didn't care for this
Oh
movie?
man, I don't want to air them out because I don't know if they probably watch this and stuff like. But yeah, I'm much rather not to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost
Back
a
to
Maybe
it.
they probably
Let's
watch
say
it.
it.
I don't want to. I don't want to be
okay.
associated. I don't
Okay,
wanna-
okay, all good, all good.
Pet peeve.
Pet peeve when you don't put your dishes away.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
a
big pet
one.
peeve.
When's the last time you cried and why?
Literally, maybe today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Maybe Monday.
Oh,
Cried Monday.
why?
Visiting grandma.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
visiting
gonna do
grandma.
it. It's
Yeah,
gonna do it.
Yeah.
What is your most prized possession?
Probably my cars right now. I'm like a big car guy.
Okay.
I'm in my car phase.
Which car?
I just picked up an 89 Lincoln Town Car.
Ooh.
And I put like 20s on it. 150 spokes, back, front.
Yes.
And it looks crazy, but I grew up. My father had like a 95 Lincoln Town Car. Now that's what I was trying to find. But we sold it when he passed away, and I've been trying to find that same car, but I came across the 89. I was like, the 89 will do. So
That's what's up.
just
That's
recently,
fire.
that's like lately. That's like that's my thing. Yeah.
What is a dream collab or an opportunity for yourself?
McDonald's.
Makes sense with running.
McDonald's
does.
dream
It
collab
does.
because for me, man, just growing up as a kid, it was like that's where our family took us there all the time, and the iconic fish fillet for me is
Ooh,
like
Yep.
and then to this day I try to put everyone on a fish fillet, and some are like, this is fucking disgusting. Like, what is this? And people are still like, no, this is like my childhood, right?
Dude, Filet-O-Fish is money, bro.
But yeah,
You gotta try it with Big Mac sauce.
What? You can
fish
request
fillet.
Big Mac?
Because
Fish fillet
sometimes
with
people don't like the
Big Mac
tartar
sauce.
sauce,
Oh, I
which
can
is
see-
what
I can
throws
see
people
that.
off sometimes.
Oh, so you'd get rid of the tartar.
Yeah,
and then add Big Mac. sauce.
Yeah.
Big Mac
Oh, I
sauce.
mean, that's
Okay,
probably
I can see
fire,
that
for sure.
for
Yeah,
sure. What is your proudest moment?
When my mother said, "I'm proud of you."
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that
dope.
like broke me. I was like,
Mm,
she gets it, because she thought I was just in LA partying, 21, 22. Call her like, I need money. She's like, I'm not sending you money. I was like, that's it. And I'm just like, oh shit, I'm so broke. But when she realized, like, seeing these things that I was doing and sending her, like, she'd just be like, wow, he's like completely changed now. And it's
Still partying, but doing it.
yeah, a little less partying, but it's like a different relationship now with her,
Mhm.
you know. And it's never thought it would get to this point, but it's so beautiful. And I remember when she said that, I was like, oh shit, that was probably my proudest
Yeah, that's dope.
moment.
Heck yeah. What's a project you haven't started yet, but is in the back burner of your mind?
Okay, it's the podcast.
Oh, you already got the equipment,
It's so
bro.
hard, man. It's like I tried to do it a couple years back, and man, it's hard to be consistent.
Mm,
You know, just consistency is the number one thing in everything, and
yeah, it is.
it's so hard. But you never know, like, you know.
Well, hopefully this inspires
Yeah,
you, bro.
100% has inspired me. Yes.
If you have one, what is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret. I don't know, man. To be personal, lately is trying to get back in touch with my sister. Yeah, just like to build a better relationship. So lately that's been in my head, and I do want to build that back up to a more healthier relationship. But yeah, I think so.
So there's the accountability. You put it on a podcast, and you
man,
got to do it.
It's out
you
there.
know?
It's out there.
Exactly.
What is your superpower?
In a positive way, like not caring. So meaning, what I mean by that is, yes, I care about feelings and everyone's things. What I mean by that is, like, when I do things, I don't think about the outcomes or the where it might what can happen to it. It's just like I just do it, and for the most part, everything has worked out pretty well. But man, it's just like, let's just go do it. You know, don't care. Who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Like, you just got to really start it and do it. And I think that's having that carefree moment with yourself. And it's like, I think that just enables me to just do whatever I want and continue to do it. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. If you could go back in time and tell the 12-year-old version of yourself one piece of advice, what would you tell yourself at 12 years old?
It's all going to work out. I would tell him it's all going to work out. And then a funny thing was, like, stop eating too much fish fillets. Little fatty. Hey, little fatty. Chill out on the fish fillets.
That's good, man. So Bruce Lee has this famous quote. He says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times."
Yeah.
What is that one kick that you've practiced 10,000 times?
He's like, roundhouse.
Let me show you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I can answer that. Damn, man, I have no idea.
Fish fillets.
Exactly. Fish fillets, yeah.
No, I mean, well,
I wanted to say a funny thing, but man,
just the thing that you put in so much time into.
Yeah.
Like, man, I've mastered this.
I think for me, it's just an ongoing thing to this day, is finding out who I am. It's like, having the neighborhood of Koreatown to support everything that, we get to do. I literally live, breathe, and die for Koreatown. And like, I think as a whole, I pretty much like gave up my life to really just like do the things that I'm doing. But I make everything work for myself, right? So it's like doing all these community stuff. But man, it's like, to this day, I'm not necessarily mastered. It's like, I just want to learn more about the neighborhood, because it's ever so evolving every day, and new people are coming in every day. There's new stories to tell every day. Man, it's just really trying to be an expert of the neighborhood. And yeah, I think it's just being aware of, I don't know, that's a great question. Because I don't think I've ever necessarily mastered something in my life.
That's also one of the most unique answers that we've had from somebody sitting there too, like being an expert of the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like, for me, it's like
so good.
You like Spider-Man.
Yeah. For me, it's like it's this neighborhood. It's like, you want it to. It's changing every day. People are talking about, oh, there's people moving in, like the rent's getting higher. There's gentrification. It's like, of course there is, of course. And there's pluses and negatives to gentrification. I think for us, it's like, how do you just have a hand in something and change the narrative as well? You get, as much as you want to tell everyone's stories, but But there's times where it's like hard times. COVID hits. Who would have thought COVID would hit? And it's so sad to see like these mom and pop shops like close down. And there's like a part of me that's like, damn, it's because of you. Like it closed down because of you. Not saying it's because of me, but it's like, what more can you have done? And like, there's times where I can't sleep at night because it's like, fuck, dude, like what could I have done?
Wow.
It's like social media, fuck all social media. Like, man, fuck social media. We don't need it. But if that's gone tomorrow, like, who am I? And like, I know where I stand and like who I am. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, that COVID really took a toll on me when like all the shops were closing down. People needed help. And it was just too fast. There's like not much you can do, but yeah, I blacked out. What was the question?
Nah, bro. You know what I just got from that? You are the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, bro. You even said that's your favorite tattoo, the one that's on your chest, bro. Like
sure.
I'm not even trying to reach for that.
Wow.
But it's the way that you think about your neighborhood, and it's almost like Batman-ish. You know what I'm saying? Like if like I gotta save my city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think there's something so beautiful to that, bro. And again, that if you were a politician right now,
Sure,
that'd be a freaking great, like, wow, this guy really loves his city. You know what I mean? But it's not coming from a politician. This is coming from a dude who legitimately loves the people in his community and is doing his best to uplift, make the change, be a part of the change, and create programs and systems and little fun little organization pop-up type things that just feed the community. Bro, you got a burger shop in the heart of it.
Yeah.
You are literally feeding the community. You're out there on the streets delivering meals on bicycles.
Right.
Feeding kids pizza at the Excel the Youth. Bro, you're literally feeding the community. And I don't think there's any better expression of love. I mean, bro, we're Asian.
Right.
We all know how our Asian parents show love. They're like, did you eat?
Of course.
They don't need to say I love you, but they'll give you a whole banquet of a meal because that's how I'm going to show you that I love you. I'm going to feed you.
Right.
So I think there's something about just something that's innate within you where there's this desire to feed and there's this desire to grow, protect, and flourish. Because, you know, when you talk about planting a park, like, sure, parks are like cool to look at and stuff like that. It's green, trees, grass. But what do parks do? They bring the community together. Like kids come, parents come, picnics, you know, playgrounds, like events, birthdays. It's a place, it's a gathering place. Yeah. And for you to even say like, man, I want to like make like a park in K-Town, I think that's probably why, because you know what parks do. You know what I mean?
Sure, of course.
I don't know, man. I think you have mastered many things. And I think
I
don't want to just like subscribe or like prescribe it to you, but like, I just feel like, dude, you're a master of community building. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's like, man, I just want to. How do you consume more of the community? How do you learn from it? How do you? Because it's a living, breathing thing. It's like, how do you share these stories and these people that are going through it every day, like your neighbor's stories or someone, you know, the crime of it, the political side of it. Like there's just so many different departments of the neighborhood of Koreatown that would love to tap into, but you know, dude, it's just work in progress. I'm just doing the things that you know, what we can do for the moment, but you know, there is a bigger picture of just like becoming that expert that I mentioned of, man, just learning more and seeing where, you know, where are the spaces that are voided and filling that void. Really, it's like that's our job at this point now. Yeah.
Mike, bro, first of all, thanks for stopping through and just literally.
I just also want to say to you guys, man, as you know, as much as I had so much fun talking about myself, it's like you guys have really also had a huge ripple effect into this world and how people perceive and what they're able to do and get inspired from. And you guys have a hand in it. And it's just beautiful to see, like, you know, being able to come here and talk about my story. But you guys have an incredible story that, you know, has touched millions of people. I can't imagine that also says, hey, you look like me. And like, so I appreciate both you guys. And
thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. It's fun. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Appreciate that for real.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll receive that, man. We'll receive it and just say thank you for it. And yeah, bro, like it's clear, bro. You have like this huge heart that I think will only grow deeper. I just see your capacity to love. I think it's just like it'll just keep growing deeper, and it's beautiful to and inspiring to watch it, and then also kind of like, yo, we could probably team up for things. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to stuff. So I mean, yeah, dude, Kinjaz, I mean, kin at all costs. That's like it's about family first. You know what I mean? Cool. And we are very much about like, yo, let's put on for our community. Yeah, we just so happen to kind of look like a bunch of, you know, like I guess y'all are a bunch of Asian kids. Well, I guess that's kind of what we look like, but that's not the intention. It's right. Like we're trying to be this Asian club, but we're just like, okay, well, if we're putting it on for Asian folks, then we're gonna put it on for Asian folks, and we're gonna do what we can. And so, but yeah, man, just want to just acknowledge you for just your selflessness, your servanthood, and like just your ability to also be fearless and bold to go after it though too. I think that's a beautiful juxtaposition of like being a servant, but also being bold to just get after the thing. You know what I mean? And like you said, to not care about like, oh, but is it gonna succeed or how, like, what are people gonna think? It's like, it doesn't matter. I believe in it. I'm gonna get after it. And I think there's like a beautiful boldness and strength there, bro. So I just want to just like affirm that in you. And yeah, man, just thank you for your time, bro. This is really fun. Just chopping it up.
Yeah, man. Ben put me on to you, you know what I mean? And your deeds, just hearing your story has been like just genuinely inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
To the point where I might even run or something. But
I think you're going to.
Yeah. There's, you know, we have a lot of like amazing people that come in here and bless our space, you know what I mean, with on our pod and sit right there. And a lot of them, you know, have like maybe more visibly put their face out there and done XYZ or indirectly impacted this and that, you know, but like you who like have intentionally not chosen to put your face, you know what I mean, to what you've done, but have so personally gone out directly into your own town, your own community, whether it be at the libraries or through the Run Club or like even feeding people, like that is so powerful, and also like what this world needs a lot more of too. So just, you know, thank you, you know, for being here, one, and thank you also for just doing the things that you do for the people you do it for, because that's even just inspiring to us, you know, and it's just dope to have a person like you here on the pod as well to share that story.
Appreciate you guys.
100%. Well, bro, we want to do what we can to serve you, man. Like, if you want to plug anything, how can people follow the stuff that you're doing? Anything that's coming up that like the community can hop on? Like,
just Instagram. If you want to follow everything that we're doing, it's all just one hub shop where you can find out literally everything that's going on with the Love Hour, bicycle meals, Excel the Youth, just at Koreatown. Yep.
Dope. Yep. We'll make sure we'll plug all that in the descriptions. Folks, thank you for tuning in, for listening and or watching. Thank you so much for following this season. If you are finding this episode by itself, we have many episodes that have come before this with amazing guests just like Mike. Make sure you follow us on socials, KINJAZ Podcast, Cast with a K. We're on Facebook, Twitter, IG, all that. If you're listening, make sure you screenshot us. I love regramming all that stuff. Share it with a friend. And that's it. We appreciate y'all.
Kinja bang, y'all.
Peace. Kinja bang.